Hello everyone, welcome back to QRS Entertainment. A lot has happened since the last time I did a video, so I'm going to be pretty quick and run through everything. First I want to talk about NASCAR. Bubba Wallace got his first win, even though it came from the weather. The race was called before it could truly come to an end, but that's a part of it, and he gets the win. Congratulations to him. There's been a lot of time and money pumped into him, and he finally got a win. Good for him and the Jordan team. Alright, now to college football. Man, this was a crazy, crazy week 6. Big upsets. Some very entertaining games, like Ole Miss and Arkansas. Ole Miss bouncing back after that beatdown from Alabama, taking down Arkansas 52-51. Also, you had Georgia taking down Auburn. Then you had Penn State and Iowa going head-to-head, with Penn State losing to Iowa 23-20. A lot of really good games here with the top teams playing. Again, Notre Dame barely winning 32-29 over Virginia Tech, as Notre Dame continues to be the most overrated team in college football. And of course, the big game, Florida State taking down North Carolina. At least it was a big one for me, being a Florida State fan. I'll take anything I can get right now. And then there was another notable game, I guess. A couple okay teams, Texas A&M and Alabama. They played, and Texas A&M kind of got the win over Alabama. There are a couple of okay teams. Not a real big story there. So I've been saying Texas A&M and Notre Dame are a bunch of paper tigers pretty much the whole year, and I feel like I was proven right when they started losing. But you can't deny the achievement of beating Alabama. It will become the highlight of their season, no doubt. And good on them. I never thought they were a bad team. I just didn't think they were as good as what everyone said they were. And for Alabama, they're going to be just fine. Everything that went wrong did go wrong for them, but they're still the best team. They're going to drop a little bit in the rankings. I don't think it'll be too much or it'll be a problem. They might go to number 5, maybe number 6, but they'll be right back up to number 2 as long as Georgia doesn't lose. If Georgia loses, they'll be at number 1 in 2 or 3 weeks easily. Now, with that out of the way, on to the big boys in the NFL. I went 11-5 for the Week 5 game picks. A little bit of a step back from the last couple of weeks where I had 13-3, but still overall, I think 11-5 is pretty reasonable. I'll run through them real quick before giving my Week 6 predictions. Starting with the Seahawks and the Rams, I had the Seahawks winning. Obviously, Russell Wilson got hurt, and that kind of changed the outcome of that game and the future for the Seahawks going forward. It'll be something to watch. Next would be the Dolphins and the Buccaneers. Nothing to really talk about here. The Buccaneers took care of business, 45-17. Another 5 touchdowns for Tom Brady. On to the Pats and the Texans. The Texans almost had the Pats, which I would have been very angry with. But the Patriots came out and got the win. Barely, 25-22, but they did it. Falcons Jets, the first of the London games. Falcons get the win, no surprise there. Saints and Washington football team. Saints get the win. Bengals and Cincinnati, which was a really fun game to watch. Green Bay gets the win. Finally, the Crosby made a kick and got the field goal after missing 3 previous, but Green Bay gets the win. Detroit and the Vikings. Vikings got the win. Detroit almost got a win this week, but the Vikings are still a better overall team. Okay, on to my second wrong pick, which is the Broncos and the Steelers. I picked the Broncos. I figured their defense would stop the Steelers, even though the Steelers have a good defense as well. I was wrong. The Steelers came out and stopped the Broncos. They could never really get anything going. And for the Steelers side, Najee Harris looked pretty good. He got hurt at the end of the game. Hopefully he's all right, at least for my fantasy team's sake. Okay, on to the Titans and Jaguars. Nothing to really talk about. Titans win. Jags are the worst team in the league. On to Philly and the Panthers. I got this one wrong as well. I picked the Panthers. Philly got the win. It was a decent game to watch. But still, at the end of the day, everyone knows these are 2 average teams at best and aren't really going to do anything. On to the Chargers and the Browns. This was a fun game. Both these 2 teams are legit. The Chargers are a legit championship team, and I would not be surprised if they're in the Super Bowl this year. Herbert is legit, and I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see the Chargers finally do something. And the Browns as well. They have a lot to look forward to. Baker Mayfield's pretty awesome himself, along with the duo running backs with Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Only if they could get Odell Beckham to bounce back, they might actually have a legit team there as well. Well, they are a legit team, but a even a next level top tier team. Okay, on to the Raiders and the Bears. I got this one wrong. I was starting to believe in the Raiders, but the Bears got the win. The Raiders kind of turned over and folded, and they also have a lot of controversy going on. Gruden just resigned, probably for good reason. I'm not going to get into it. That's not what I'm here to talk about, but everyone really knows the accusations. Well, not even accusations at this point, it's proof. And he admitted to it, of the stuff he said in his emails. He can't be the coach, regardless if that's how he actually feels, or he was just saying an email and being stupid and having a moment lapse of judgment. It doesn't matter. The stuff he said, you can't have that as a head coach. It's too much of a distraction, just like Tebow, just like Kaepernick. You're not going to have those guys around when they're causing so much of a distraction. I know a lot of people have their opinion on whether he should or should not have been fired or resigned. He resigned, but we know he was actually told to quit. And regardless of your opinion, whether he should have or should not have been able to stay, it really doesn't matter. He would have been too much of a distraction to the team, and that's why he's no longer the coach. All right, back to my picks here. I have the Cardinals and the 49ers. I picked the Cardinals. They get the win. Cowboys and Giants. Cowboys destroyed the Giants. Buffalo and the Chiefs. This was a very telling game. You showed the clear direction that the Bills are going in. They're the best team in football right now, and they're playing like it, and good on them. Josh Allen is a stud, and they're going places just like the Chargers. Now, on the other hand, you have the Chiefs, which has all the talent in the world. When it comes to just pure talent, especially in the offense, I do believe they're the best team in the NFL, but they're not playing like it. I know a lot of people are going to give Patrick Mahomes a lot of crap. I think it really falls on Andy Reid. He's the coach. He needs to get him in the right position to win some of these games against the upper echelon teams they're going against. They've had some tough competition since the start of the year, but they're better than these teams. It's borderline embarrassing that they're losing so many of these games. But even that being said, they're still the Chiefs. They're going to be good for a long time. They're going to figure a way out of this tailspin, and they're going to be just fine and in the mix for a championship this year. All right, for the last game was the Ravens and the Colts. The Ravens won. I couldn't really tell you much about this game. I was sleeping during it. Other than that, I know Lamar Jackson went off because the worst player in our fantasy team beat one of the best players in our fantasy team just because of Lamar Jackson. So I thought that was pretty funny. All right, on to my picks for Week 6. Starting it off on Thursday night is the Buccaneers and the Eagles. Buccaneers, easy. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Cowboys and the Pats. Unfortunately, the Cowboys are going to beat my Pats. Dolphins and Jaguars. I'm actually going to pick the Jaguars. I didn't think I'd pick them at all this year, but I'm going to pick them and say they have a chance to beat the Dolphins. This is probably their only chance to win, so I'm going with them. Hopefully the coaching staff doesn't let me down, because that's a big issue with them. Bengals and the Lions. As much as I want to believe in the Lions, I'm going to go with the Bengals. Chiefs and Washington football team. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I know they've let me down the last couple weeks, but I'm going to go with them. If they lose this game, it's going to be bad for them. Okay, Vikings and the Panthers. I'm going to go with the Vikings. Texans and Colts. This might be another game for the Texans, but I'm going to go with the Colts anyway. Rams and Giants. I'm going to go with the Rams. Chargers and Ravens. This is going to be a really good game, I think. I have a very busy weekend coming up, but if I have a chance to watch some football, this is the game I'm going to want to watch. Next is the Packers and the Bears. Packers are going to win. Arizona and the Browns. This is going to be another good game to watch, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Browns are going to get the win here. Next up is the Raiders and Broncos. I'm going to go with the Broncos. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders just fell off a cliff at this point, unfortunately. After that, we have the Seahawks and the Steelers. I'm going to go with the Steelers. With Wilson being out, I'm not going to pick the Seahawks. At least not until I figure out how they do with their backup. I don't even know who their backup is. I think it's Geno Smith. If that's the case, I don't have a lot of faith in them. But hopefully Wilson will be able to come back on the field sooner rather than later. For the last game is the Bills and the Titans. The Bills are going to crush the Titans, unfortunately. For the Titans, they just have not been able to figure out how to play football again this year at a high level. So I fully expect the Bills to crush them because they're on it. They're in full form and ready to ball. Right, so those are my picks. Bye weeks are Atlanta, New Orleans, New Jersey, and San Francisco. That pretty much wraps up this podcast. I do want to mention the Red Sox beat Tampa Bay, and the Red Sox are moving on. I'm shocked. I didn't think this was even possible. You know, I'm a Red Sox fan, and I've had no faith. I've been dogging them the entire time this year, but it didn't come from a place of hate. I do like this team. It's just they shouldn't be as good as what they are, and they're defying expectations, and I love it. I'm glad to see it. I hope it continues. My MLB predictions are completely shattered, but that's a good thing. I'm willing to be wrong if it means they're going to win. And it looks like we're going to be playing the Astros in the next series, which is going to be really tough. One reason why I wasn't rooting for the Rays, but I was expecting them to win and beat them. I do not want the Astros to go far, so I'm really banking on the Red Sox to do something here. This might be one of those rare times where people from all around the country are rooting for the Red Sox because people hate the Astros, and rightfully so. I mean, even the White Sox were already saying they were sign stealing in the last series, so that'll be something to look out for going forward. And over on the National League, it looks like Atlanta, just as I'm doing this podcast, looks like they just beat Milwaukee, so they will be moving on as well. Now the Giants and Dodgers are still playing, so we don't know who's going to win that game. Currently, the Giants are 2-1 in the series, but it looks like the Dodgers are up 2-0 right now in the game, but it's still early in the game. It's only the second. Out of that series, I'm hoping the Giants win. I think the Giants in Atlanta would be a fun little series to watch. But other than that, I don't really have much to talk about, so thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Take it easy, and God bless.